A pharmaceutical contract development and manufacturing organization operates in a physical reality that is rigid, highly regulated, and strictly constrained by its machinery. That physical rigidity stands in direct opposition to the commercial environment, where pipeline launch timing and customer priorities shift constantly. Traditionally, sales teams treat customer relationship management software entirely as a deal tracking tool, isolating their data from the supply chain. When commercial data remains isolated, the factory floor suffers immediate consequences. Operations become reactive, inventory risk rises, and production line bottlenecks worsen. This highlights the central conflict. On the left, an $8 million CRM deal closes. On the right, the ERP system instantly flashes capacity warnings. Unchecked commercial growth threatens operational stability. A single opportunity immediately dictates future packaging demand, labor, and working capital. To solve this, Salesforce data must be converted from an isolated sales record into the foundational intelligence for operational and EBITDA forecasting. Ultimately, in a pharmaceutical CDMO, commercial pipeline data is the exact blueprint of the facility's future operational reality. The primary flaw in standard enterprise planning is treating raw revenue forecasts as guaranteed future demand. This table, weighted revenue calculation, introduces probability vectors. Here we see raw revenue for Pfizer, generic co, and an OTC partner. We assign specific probabilities to distinct pipeline stages, like technical review or final approval. Multiplying raw revenue by probability generates actual weighted revenue. Look at the Pfizer row. An $8 million target at a 70% negotiation stage logically reduces to a $5.6 million weighted baseline. Applying this probability matrix across the entire pipeline creates a realistic foundation for anticipating future inventory and labor requirements. However, probability only fixes the financial expectation. It still ignores the strict physical limits of the manufacturing plant. Weighted revenue is the prerequisite for financial accuracy, but until you apply operational constraints, the signal remains incomplete. Moving past financial probability, we have to evaluate operational timing. Exactly when a launch happens dictates its physical impact on the factory. Delayed commercial launches leave labor standing idle and create dangerous underabsorption on the floor. Conversely, expedited or highly unstable launch schedules force the facility into costly overtime, require rushed packaging orders, and necessitate bloated safety stock. We measure operational complexity using packaging hours. This Gantt chart illustrates maximum available factory capacity. We map expected commercial launches for Pfizer, generic co, and OTC product lines to specific dates between June 2027 and February 2028. Transforming the schedule into a heat map reveals how total packaging hours stack up, eventually breaching maximum capacity. These specific breach points indicate where overlapping launches demand more capacity than physically exists. Operations managers must identify this bottleneck consumption during the early pipeline phase, months before raw materials and procurement orders are triggered. Evaluating a commercial opportunity strictly on its revenue masks its potential to cause total factory gridlock. Commercial instability directly causes operational underabsorption and capacity crises. In contract manufacturing, landing massive strategic accounts is rarely an uncomplicated victory. Determining true customer profitability requires analyzing how intensely a specific account drains your physical machinery and your corporate liquidity. We analyze this by tracking two critical constraints: bottleneck usage, measured in packaging hours, and liquidity impact, measured in accounts receivable, or AR days. This scatterplot maps EBITDA per bottleneck hour. The x-axis tracks liquidity through AR days, and the y-axis tracks capacity through packaging hours. We plot Pfizer. It generates high overall EBITDA, represented by the large bubble size, but Pfizer consumes 400 packaging hours and ties up cash for 90 AR days. Now we plot Generico. Its total EBITDA bubble is smaller, but it only consumes 180 hours and pays in 45 days. A high-revenue strategic account like Pfizer provides immense enterprise credibility, but it severely degrades working capital and eats massive amounts of bottleneck capacity. The smaller account, Generico, actually yields a higher EBITDA per bottleneck hour and stabilizes operational cash flow. If you fail to integrate AR terms and bottleneck constraints into your forecasting, your commercial teams will actively sell the enterprise into a liquidity trap. Calculating these trade-offs manually across hundreds of pipeline opportunities requires a programmatic data architecture. This architecture diagram standardizes raw Salesforce objects into a structured data warehouse, building tables for Power BI. From Power BI, data flows into Python, which executes a left merge, locking commercial pipelines to operational capacity. This script acts as the optimization engine, automatically matching projected product volumes against available packaging runtimes. Because of this automated link, SAP production planning and procurement systems can react instantly the moment a close probability shifts in the CRM. Operations is no longer isolated, and plant managers are never caught completely unaware of impending launch timing changes. Python and Power BI operate as the vital connective tissue, transforming isolated Salesforce inputs into a dynamic, bottleneck-aware forecasting engine. This interconnected data stack builds a reliable enterprise forecast. This chart projects out to 2030, showing weighted revenue reaching $36 million. Beneath that revenue line, we map the parallel demand for labor headcount, raw material inventory, and required capital expenditures. Enterprise leaders can mathematically determine which specific future commercial launches will outgrow the current facility and require new machinery capex. They can also definitively identify which long-term strategic accounts will steadily drain liquidity as the business scales over the next 5 years. Long-term EBITDA forecasts are only as reliable as the underlying operational intelligence feeding them. Predictive enterprise planning requires a seamless integration between commercial pipelines and operational constraints. Treating Salesforce as a mere sales tracking tool leaves the enterprise's most predictive data assets stranded and underutilized. Mapping these commercial data structures is the required foundation for deploying AI forecasting agents and enterprise decision intelligence. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, the commercial pipeline is the exact mathematical equivalent